On the morning of July 5, 2003, inside the headquarters of the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation, a closed-door meeting is underway. On the fourth floor, a senior executive sits across a statistician named Mohan Srivastava. Between them, 20 sealed scratch-off tickets. Moments earlier, Mohan had made a claim that no one in the room could process. He said that he could tell which of these tickets would win without scratching them. And he said it wasn't just him. Anyone in America could do it. The executive begins to test it. One ticket, winner. Another, winner. A third, winner again. Silence. No one moves. If Mohan is right, this isn't a printing error. This is a billion-dollar problem. The illusion of luck has just collapsed. To understand how this moment happened, we need to go back 3 weeks, to a lunch break, a cluttered desk, and a $3 scratch card that changed everything. Mohan Srivastava doesn't look like someone who could break a multi-billion-dollar industry. He works as a geological statistician in Toronto. His job is to analyze rock and soil samples for mining companies. They send him data, complex numerical breakdowns of minerals. To most people, the numbers look random. To Mohan, they tell a story. If you understand the algorithm nature uses to distribute gold throughout sediment layers, you can predict where to dig. Mohan has degrees from Stanford and MIT, but he drives a 10-year-old Honda, lives in a modest townhouse in the suburbs, doesn't care much about money. What he cares about is solving problems. On this particular Tuesday afternoon, his computer is crashed. He's bored, starts tidying his desk. Coffee cups, cookie crumbs, old geological reports from a mining site in northern Quebec. And there, buried beneath it all, 2 scratch-off lottery tickets, a gift from a colleague who knows Mohan never buys them. Mohan doesn't buy lottery tickets. The math doesn't make sense. The expected value is always negative. The house always wins. But these are free. He finds a coin and scratches the first one. Loser. No surprise. Second card? Winner. $3. He stares at it for a moment. Something feels off. Not the win, the pattern. The way the numbers are arranged. The visible digits on the unscratched portion. They don't look random. Mohan picks up the ticket again, studies the grid. His mind starts running calculations. He thinks about his work. Every week, mining companies send him soil samples. Each sample comes with a numerical breakdown. Percentages of copper, zinc, gold, iron, dozens of trace elements. To an untrained observer, these numbers appear completely random, but they're not. They're the result of geological processes: heat, pressure, time, chemical reactions, tectonic movement. Nature has an algorithm. If you can reverse engineer it, you can predict where valuable deposits form. Mohan has made a career out of finding nature's patterns. And now, staring at this $3 winning ticket, a thought occurs to him. What if lottery cards have an algorithm too? For most people, a scratch card is a $2 dream, a brief moment of possibility before returning to reality. For Mohan, it's data. And data can always be decoded. He sits there for a long time. The afternoon light shifts across his desk. His coffee goes cold. Then he picks up his phone and calls his wife. "I'm going to be late tonight. I need to test something." Mohan Srivastava has spent his career finding patterns in chaos. In his day job, he analyzes geological samples. A rock might contain traces of dozens of minerals. The distribution appears random, but it's not. Every mineral deposit tells a story. Gold tends to concentrate in quartz veins. Copper appears near volcanic intrusions. Silver follows fault lines. If you understand the underlying processes, you can look up one sample and predict what lies beneath. The same logic, Mohan realizes, could apply to lottery scratch cards. A computer algorithm generates the winning and losing tickets. The numbers feel random, but they're not. They're defined by the algorithm that created them. And algorithms always leave fingerprints. The next morning, Mohan stops at a Petro-Canada gas station near his office. He buys 10 tic-tac-toe scratch cards, $20. The clerk barely looks up. Mohan brings them to his office and spreads them across his desk like a data set. The game works like this. On the left side of each card, there's a grid containing 24 numbers covered in blue latex. Those are your numbers. On the right side, there are 8 tic-tac-toe boards, 3x3 grids. Each square contains a number, visible without scratching. The rules are simple. If 3 of your numbers form a line on any board, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, you win the prize shown. Prizes range from $3 to $50,000. The design is clever. It creates anticipation. As you scratch off your numbers one by one, you can see them appearing on the boards. Near misses happen frequently. You almost won $10,000. Better play again. But Mohan isn't interested in psychology. He's interested in the mathematics. He begins logging every visible number on every tic-tac-toe board across all 10 tickets. How many times does the number 1 appear on ticket A? How about ticket B? What about the numbers 17, 23? He creates a spreadsheet, rows for each ticket, columns for each number from 1 to 40. He marks down every occurrence, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. The pattern takes 2 hours to emerge, but when it does, it's undeniable. Certain numbers appear only once across all 8 boards on a given ticket. Other numbers appear multiple times, 2, 3, sometimes 4. The ones that appear only once, those are always the winning numbers. Mohan stares at his screen. The algorithm's logic becomes clear. When the printing company generates a winning ticket, it places the winning numbers first, 3 numbers that form a line on one of the 8 boards. Then it fills in the remaining numbers, but to avoid accidentally creating additional winning lines, it reuses numbers. The same number appears in multiple spots. The winning numbers, by design, only appear once. This constraint was meant to control payout rates, to ensure the right number of winners and losers, but it created a vulnerability. Mohan tests the theory. He maps out which visible numbers are singletons. Mohan tests the theory. He maps out which visible numbers are singletons, appearing exactly once on each ticket. If 3 singletons line up on a tic-tac-toe board, it should be a winner. He scratches the first ticket. The blue grid reveals his numbers. 3 of them match the singletons he identified. They form a diagonal line on board 5. Winner, $10. He scratches the second. Winner, $5. Third, loser, but his prediction said loser. 4th, 5th, 6th, all correct. 7th, winner, $3. 8th, 9th, 10th, perfect accuracy, 10 out of 10. In less than 5 hours, Mohan Srivastava has cracked the Ontario Lottery's most popular scratch card. He sits back in his chair. The office is empty. Everyone else has gone home. Outside, the sun is setting over Toronto. Mohan realizes what he's done. He doesn't need to scratch the tickets. He doesn't need special equipment. He doesn't need to scratch the tickets. He doesn't need special equipment. He doesn't need inside information. He just needs to count. The system isn't random. It's deterministic, predictable, breakable. He thinks about who else might have figured this out. How many people across North America are sitting in their basements right now, counting numbers, identifying patterns? How many organized crime groups are buying tickets in bulk, scanning them, redeeming winners, discarding losers? The next evening, Mohan shows his 12-year-old daughter how to do it. He hands her 3 unscratched tickets. Look at the numbers on the boards. Tell me which numbers appear only once. She studies the first ticket. This one, 13, 9, and 31. Do they line up? She traces her finger across the board. Yes, diagonal. Scratch it. She does. Winner. She looks up at him, eyes wide. Mohan realizes something that night. This isn't a sophisticated hack. It's not even difficult. A 12-year-old can do it in under 60 seconds, which means anyone can do it. And if anyone can do it, someone probably already has. Mohan runs the numbers. The average tic-tac-toe ticket costs $2. His method has 90% accuracy. If he visits convenience stores and identifies winners from the unscratched displays on the counter, he could purchase only the winning tickets. Average payout per winner, $6 to $8. If he spent 8 hours a day doing this, cycling through stores across Toronto, he could identify roughly 100 winners per day. Net profit after ticket costs, $600 a day. Over $200,000 a year, tax-free, undetectable. Mohan closes his calculator. He's not interested. He already has a job he likes, a steady income, a family, a quiet life analyzing rocks and predicting where gold might be found. This was never about money. It was about the challenge, the puzzle. But now the challenge is over. Something else is starting to bother him. Mohan starts thinking about scale. He's one person, a statistician with a mortgage and a daughter in middle school. He has no interest in exploiting this flaw. But what about someone who does? What about organized crime? The more Mohan thinks about it, the more disturbed he becomes. The North American lottery system generates $70 billion a year. That's larger than the film industry and the music industry combined. Only 20 to 30% of that revenue goes to public services, schools, roads, infrastructure. The rest? Marketing, administration, corporate profit. And now, Mohan knows the system is broken. He thinks about money laundering, drug cartels, criminal enterprises looking for ways to clean dirty money. Buying lottery tickets in bulk would be perfect. Purchase 10,000 tickets, use the algorithm to identify winners, redeem only those, return or discard the losers. The result? Clean money, legitimate gambling winnings, no questions asked. Mohan calls several convenience stores, poses as a customer. If I buy a scratch ticket and change my mind, can I return it? Every store says yes as long as it's unscratched. The loophole is wide open. For the first time, Mohan feels afraid. Not of getting caught, of what he's uncovered. He lies awake at night. His wife asks if something's wrong. He doesn't know how to explain it. After several sleepless nights, Mohan makes a decision. He's going to report it. He contacts the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation, asks to speak with someone in security. The receptionist transfers him. He's put through to Rob Zufelt, head of security. Mohan leaves a detailed voicemail, explains the flaw, describes the algorithm, offers to demonstrate. This is a serious vulnerability. Anyone could exploit it. I'd like to show you how it works. He leaves his phone number. No response. Days pass, then a week. Mohan calls again, leaves another message. Nothing. He starts to understand the problem. Lottery organizations are flooded with calls from the public. Complaints, conspiracy theories, people who believe they were cheated, that the system is rigged, that they would have won if only the clerk had given them a different ticket. Mohan's message sounds like all the others. A crank, a conspiracy theorist, someone who thinks they've cracked the code. The security department has heard it 1,000 times. So Mohan decides to prove it. He goes to 3 different stores over 2 days, buys 20 tic-tac-toe tickets, $40. He brings them home, spreads them on his kitchen table, analyzes each one, maps the singletons, predicts outcomes. He sorts them into 2 piles, 10 predicted winners, 10 predicted losers. He doesn't scratch any of them. He seals each pile in a separate envelope, writes a note by hand. In the enclosed envelopes, I have sent you 2 groups of 10 tic-tac-toe tickets that I purchased in the last week. Scratch off the cards, and you should have a pretty solid sense of whether or not there's something fishy. He couriers the package to Rob Zufelt at OLG headquarters. The courier picks it up at 10 in the morning. Mohan goes back to work, tries to focus on a mineral analysis for a gold mine in British Columbia. He can't concentrate. 2 hours later, his phone rings. Mr. Srivastava, this is Rob Zufelt from the Ontario Lottery. The meeting is scheduled for 2 in the afternoon the next day. Mohan arrives at OLG headquarters 15 minutes early. The building is glass and steel, modern, corporate. He signed in at the security desk, given a visitor badge, escorted to the 4th floor. Rob Zufelt is waiting in a boardroom, mid-40s, gray suit, calm expression, but his eyes are sharp. 2 other people are in the room, a woman from the legal department, a man from operations. Mohan opens it, sees the breakdown. 19 winners where he predicted winners. 1 loser where he predicted a loser. The single error was a low probability edge case, a ticket where 2 singletons formed a line with 1 duplicate number, statistically rare. 95% accuracy. Zufelt leans forward. Show me how you did it. Mohan pulls out a blank tic-tac-toe card, one he purchased that morning but hasn't analyzed yet. It's simple. You don't scratch the card. You only look at the visible numbers on the tic-tac-toe boards. He points to the 8 grids. Step 1. Count how many times each number appears across all 8 boards. He writes down numbers 1 through 40, starts tallying. Step 2. Identify the singletons, numbers that appear exactly once. He circles 6 numbers. Step 3. Look for 3 singletons that form a line, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. He traces his finger across board 3. Here, 7, 19, 34. If you find them, it's almost certainly a winner. Zufelt takes the card, scratches off the blue grid on the left. The Your numbers are revealed. 7, 19, and 34 are all there. They form a diagonal line on board 3. Winner, $10. The woman from legal writes something in her notebook. The operations manager shifts in his seat. Zufelt exhales slowly and asks him how long he knows about this and if he had told anyone else about this loophole. Mohan's answer was direct and clear. 3 weeks, and he only talked about it with his wife and daughter. Zufeld asked him the reason why he's reporting this instead of exploiting it. Mohan pauses, chooses his words carefully. Because this isn't just about me, anyone could figure this out. And if organized crime gets a hold of it, you're looking at systematic fraud across every province, mass money laundering. The integrity of your entire system collapses. Zufeld studies him for a long moment. Then he stands, extends his hand. Thank you for bringing this to us. We'll handle it from here. The handshake is firm. Mohan leaves the building feeling lighter. He's done the right thing, reported the vulnerability, let the professionals handle it. Now he can go back to his normal life. Except that's not what happens. 2 weeks pass. No follow-up call, no thank you letter, no request for additional consultation. Then, quietly, the tic-tac-toe game disappears from stores across Ontario. A brief press release is issued. Due to a printing error, the tic-tac-toe scratch card has been temporarily removed from circulation. The issue has been corrected. That's it. Mohan reads the statement on the OLG website. Printing error, that's what they're calling it. He waits for someone to contact him, to acknowledge what he found, to ask if he's discovered vulnerabilities in other games. Nothing. He starts to understand. They're hoping he'll just go away. But Mohan Srivastava doesn't go away. Mohan decides to keep digging. If Ontario's tic-tac-toe game was flawed, what about other games, other provinces, other states? He starts requesting data. He contacts lottery organizations across North America, asks for payout statistics, winner redemption rates, game design specifications. Most ignore him. A few send automated responses. So Mohan uses public records requests, freedom of information laws, annual reports. He builds a database, and he starts finding anomalies. In Colorado, a scratch card game called Treasures of the Pyramids shows higher than expected winner redemptions. Statistically, for every million tickets printed, 8,333 should be winners, but the redemption rate suggests 9,200 winners per million. That's a 4% discrepancy, small enough to ignore, large enough to indicate something's wrong. Mohan acquires samples of the Colorado game, analyzes them. Same flaw, same algorithm, same vulnerability. He contacts the Colorado Lottery, sends a detailed letter explaining the issue. No response. He finds similar patterns in Washington, Virginia, Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, he discovers a game where the redemption rate is 6% higher than the design specification. Someone is systematically identifying and redeeming winners. Mohan sends letters to each state's lottery commission, detailed explanations, statistical analysis, offers to demonstrate. Colorado sends a form letter thanking him for his concern. Washington doesn't respond. Massachusetts forwards his letter to their security contractor, who sends a one-sentence email. We are aware of your claims and have reviewed our security protocols. Nothing changes. Then, in March 2007, 4 years after his initial discovery, Mohan identifies the exact same vulnerability in another Ontario game, Super Bingo, one of the OLG's most popular scratch cards. He purchases 20 tickets, analyzes them, 90% accuracy. He documents everything, takes photographs, creates a spreadsheet. He sends the evidence to Rob Zufeld. This time, the response is faster. The game is pulled within a week. But again, no public acknowledgement, no apology, no investigation into how the same flaw appeared twice. Just another quiet press release about a printing issue. Mohan starts to see the bigger picture. The North American lottery industry is controlled by just 3 companies: Scientific Games, G-Tech Printing, Pollard Banknote. These companies design and print scratch cards for 43 U.S. states and every Canadian province. Billions of tickets. Tens of billions in revenue, and they all use similar algorithms, similar design principles, similar security measures, which means if one game is vulnerable, dozens might be. Mohan reaches out to journalists, sends his research to the reporters at the Toronto Star, the Globe and Mail, the New York Times. A few write articles, small pieces buried in the business section. The stories generate brief interest, then disappear. The lottery corporations issue statements dismissing the concerns as theoretical vulnerabilities that do not affect the integrity of our games. Pollard Banknote releases a statement. The issues identified by Mr. Srivastava were isolated incidents resulting from a unique combination of design elements. All affected games have been removed from circulation. Our current products employ enhanced security measures. What those enhanced security measures are, they don't specify. Mohan discovers something else during his research. Other methods for exploiting scratch cards have been known for years. Vodka, applied carefully to certain ticket types, can temporarily make the latex coating transparent. The ink is visible for a few seconds before the alcohol evaporates. Precision X-Acto knives can peel back latex layers without leaving visible damage. The ticket can be examined, then resealed. Barcode scanners can extract metadata embedded in the ticket's unique identifier. Some older games encoded win-loss status directly in the barcode. And then there's Mohan's method, the simplest of all: just count the numbers. In interviews, industry executives admit the truth, though carefully. Rob Dalton, the president of G-Tech, tells a reporter, "Every lottery knows it's one scandal away from being shut down. Public trust is everything. If people think the game is rigged, they stop playing." Another executive, speaking anonymously, was more blunt. "Of course, the system has vulnerabilities. Every system does. But the alternative is shutting down a $70 billion industry that funds schools and roads. So you patch what you can and hope nobody notices." Mohan realizes something fundamental. The lottery corporations aren't interested in security. They're interested in the appearance of security. They're not trying to make an unbreakable system. They're trying to make a system that seems unbreakable to the average person. And for most people, it works. They scratch their ticket, check if they won, and move on with their day. The illusion holds. The real secret wasn't in Mohan's algorithm. It was in how the system responded. Not by fixing the problem, but by pretending it never existed. Mohan Srivastava returns to his normal life. He never profited from his discovery, never exploited the flaw, never sought recognition. Today, scratch cards still generate billions in revenue. The designs have changed, security has improved marginally, but the fundamental problem remains. Any system with predetermined outcomes printed in advance is vulnerable. Mohan wonders how much money was stolen over the years. How many crimes were facilitated?